Please stand by.
Loading. Loading complete.
30,
29, 28,
27,
26, 25, 24,
20,
22,
21, 20, 18,
17,
16, 15, 14, 13,
12,
11, 10,
9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
4,
2,
1. Now for what you've all been waiting for.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Good morning, good day, good evening, good night, good wherever it happens to be where you are. And hopefully the time change, if you happen to be in one of those areas that does that kind of thing, isn't hitting you as hard as it's hitting me. And hello to everybody who sees this in the future. Let's see, we have Marcelo Lopez Jr. Hail. Hail to you too. Jonathan James Johnson Jr. Same Mage Wolf from Hypnos. I'm not sure if I'm familiar with Hypnosis, so maybe it's a different person, but the only one I'm familiar with is Pokemon. But I do get around, so maybe I'm just not remembering the name. And we have Purple Rhymes with Orange. Greetings, sentient beings. And yes, of course, there's for everybody out there, a good friend, Mom Nato. She's going through some hard times, had a car accident, needs the car to be able to get around for work. Had previously helped out Diana, the Lavender lady, with a move when and Diana was no longer able to live on her own. And well, she wasn't exactly in the best financial situation to begin with, but she really helped out a lot, and now she needs our help. So you can see the link I have pinned in the description there. You're at the top of the chat. If you can donate a few dollars, please do so. Our favorite Jedi Wolf. Yes, I think the UK is doing time change this weekend. Okay. Anyway, that was part of the reason why I decided not to do a show last week. The time change really messes with me physically, mentally. I'm still still not over it. Still feel worn out here. But I was actually even considering maybe canceling this one, but I decided no, it's best I go on. So let's get to the song. Every morning, every evening, ain't we got fun? Not much money, oh, but honey, ain't we got fun? The rent's unpaid, dear. We having a bus. Smiles were made, dear, for people like us. In winter, in the summer, though we have fun. Times are bumming, getting bummer. Still we have fun. There's nothing sure. The rich get rich and the poor get poor. In the meantime, in between time, ain't we got fun? Tax collectors getting closer. Still we have fun. Twins and cares, dear, come in pairs, dear. Don't we have fun? We've only started. No, we're not downhearted. When I'm laid off, I'll be paid off. Ain't we got fun? I was mad and getting madder. Ain't we got fun? Times are bad and getting badder. Still we have fun. There's nothing sure. The rich get rich and the poor get poor. In the meantime, in between time, ain't we got fun? I do hope we have fun tonight. So, eh, let's just jump into one of the articles, seeing as I'm doing a little bit of makeup from last week. And no, I don't think I actually have anyone who has passed away on my list this night. If there are any celebrities who have passed away in these past couple of weeks, I haven't really been keeping up with the news on that. But I sure hope I'm not overlooking somebody important. If so, I'll try and do a makeup. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Tomorrow I can decide whether or not to cancel tonight. Sleep on it first. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds a great idea there. So starting off, we have this news article from I was saving from last week. Catherine Corn suing Terrifier producers for alleged sexual harassment and fraud. What to know? So, if you haven't seen it, this is a pretty popular horror slasher with Art the Clown. Um, and it was pretty much really took off. Now, our character, who we can see here, the blonde here, is the one that's suing. In the October 2025 lawsuit obtained by U.S. Weekly, the attorney of the actress is accused as Terrifier producer of fraud, sexual harassment, and ultimately betrayal over the Corin's involvement in the infamously gruesome horror blockbuster. And yeah, it is extremely gruesome. If you like a lot of blood and practical effects, I'd actually recommend this movie. You give it a shot. Corcoran played hero Victoria's family friend Dawn Emerson and had a memorable on-screen death in the 2016 movie. Yeah, she was hung basically almost completely naked and sawed in half down to her head. Corcoran alleged is that she never received the 1% in the profits she was owed from starring in the first Terrifier movie, which made around 421,000 in its original theatrical release. While its initial profits were modest, Terrifier spawned two blockbuster sequels and another one on the way, and merchandising empire that included toys, a video game, and themed live events. In her lawsuit, Corcoran in detail the allegedly grueling working conditions on the set of Terrifier. She recounted being hung upside down by her ankles for over 10 hours in below freezing temperatures in a condemned building, and being photographed naked without her consent. I can see where there's issues here. Director Damien Leon and producer Phil Falcone denied all of Corcoran's accusations. What is the Terrifier movie and franchise? Well, I kind of already went over that. It's a horror slasher. It has a very gruesome Art the Clown, who ends up becoming a supernatural entity. For the sequels. A little bit of a spoiler, but not too much. I mean, you're gonna pull that up with any kind of search for this franchise. So let's skip ahead here. Why is Catherine Corcoran suing the Terrifier filmmakers? Corcoran filed a breach of contract lawsuit against its producer, Dark Age Cinema, another entity is associated with the production, including Leon and Falcone, in a California federal court in October 2025. Us obtained the non-disclosure agreement (NDA). He submitted it as evidence, in which Dark Age Cinema appeared to offer Corcoran and 1% of the profits of Terrifier. Provided he signed the document, the NDA he submitted it as evidence included Kokorin's electronic signature, dated July 8th, 2015, but did not have a signature from Dark Age Cinema. Kokorin's attorney, Devin McRae, he alleged that she agreed to act in Terrifier for an extremely low upfront per dem rate of 100 per day to accommodate the film's ultra-low budget. In exchange for 1% of the profits from and/or release to the Terrifier motion picture and any future Terrifier motion picture is as well as 1% of the profits from any Terrifier released merchandise. That's actually a pretty good deal to make, especially if the movie takes off. McRae argues that the agreement not only covered profits from the films and merchandise, but also video games, themed events, books, and any other manner of license or use of the Terrifier intellectual property. Yeah, I can see where an argument could be made for that, considering the language here. The producer of the film paid Kokorin her royalties for a brief period of time, several years after the release of the film. But when the film series' success started to grow exponentially and exceeded the producer's original expectations, the royalty payments became more and more sporadic, dwindling into amounts nowhere near commensurate it with the revenues generated, McRae alleged. The actress reported being paid around $8,300 by Dark Age as of October 2025. She recalled approaching Leon and producer Falcone to ask about the royalties, but he allegedly brushed off her concerns by claiming Dark Age doesn't keep records. That's a little shady. Elsewhere, Kokorin accused filmmakers of never obtaining Kokorin's informed written consent to film her naked body as part of her character's gruesome execution scene. Filming allegedly took place in 40-second increments and across 10 hours on set, where she was intermittently suspended by her ankles. It's a fairly short scene, actually, but yeah, I can see how if you're only doing it in little 40-second increments, it could take a long time in the film. Here's the producer and all that. When Kokorin appeared on set to film the scene, she recognized that she was the only female on set. Yeah, that's a big red flag. The suit alleged images. Falcone and Leon informed Kokorin that the scene was to be done with Kokorin fully nude. However, Kokorin insisted that she be permitted to at least wear underwear during the filming. To which Falcone and Leon ultimately requested. However, she was still required by Falcone and Leon to perform in the scene topless without having been provided with the informed written consent and disclosures required by our SAG agreement. Kind of makes me wonder why she agreed to it if without the consent forms. Because obviously she did. The scene was done. Kokorin described an emotionally scarring and physically painful process of shooting the scene, including having to allegedly lie nude on a piece of plywood as her body was covered in a quick-drying liquid silicone agent to create a silicone mold. Okay, that makes sense. So it's where they got the dummy that gets sawed in half. The process was done incorrectly, and the silicone dried and essentially glued Kokorin into the plywood. Oh, jeez. Requiring a long and painful process to remove. The dried silicone from her body, McRae claimed to make matters worse. Falcon took numerous still photographs of Cocoon's nude body while she was glued to the plywood sheet without her consent. That's a big problem. Her lawyer called on Terrifier producers to acknowledge the importance of Cocoon's physical and financial sacrifices in making the 2016 horror movie a success. Were it not for Cocoon's willingness to take a risk, on the production, and receive her compensation on the back end, the series would not exist as it could not have been made on a shoestring budget otherwise. Yeah. Now, I'm not sure her character was really that necessary to the overall plot, but she was a big part of the first movie. So, McRae included it, however, when it came time to play what was owed, the producers chose to cheat her. Spokesman for Dark Age, writer director Leon and producer Falcon strenuously he denied Corn's allegations in a statement to the Hollywood Reporter. Damien and Phil deny the claims in the complaint and will vigorously defend in this lawsuit. Their attorney said. And us here has reached out for comments. Well, if those allegations are as said, yeah, that's not right at all. And she really should have held the ground and insisted to get the right things signed ahead of time. Don't do the scene if you're not comfortable with anything. You don't have things signed in letter. If that is the case, then that was a mistake on her part to do that. Of course, maybe there's more to it where she was coerced into it more and forgo proper procedures. There's always that possibility. Any idiot you need to put a sheet of plastic down before the person lies down. Yeah. You think that the special effects in this movie are fantastic, especially with the gore. So obviously these people knew how to do a good practical effect. So they really should have known better than to make a mistake like that. Let's see what we have on the wheel. Did you ever see two Yankees part upon open shore when the good ship's just about to start for old New York once more? With two dimmed eyes, they say goodbye, they're friends without a doubt. When the man on the pier shouts, "Let them clear," as the ship strikes out. Give my regards to Broadway. Remember me to Herald Square. Tell all the gang at 42nd Street that I will soon be there. Whisper of how I'm yearning to mingle with the old time throng. Give my regards to Broadway and say that I'll be there ere long. Say hello to dear old Coney Island if there you chance to be. When you're at the Wardrough, have a smile and charge it up to me. Mention my name every place you go, as around the town you roam. Wish you'd call on my gal. Now remember, old pal, when you get back home. Give my regards to Broadway. Remember me to Herald Square. Tell all the gang at 42nd Street that I will soon be there. Whisper of how I'm yearning to mingle with the old time throng. Give my regards to Broadway and say that I'll be there ere long. Get some water there. Alright. And we have an unfinished journey, or an unfinished song, or something's unfinished here. One more song on the wheel here. Yet, Beautiful Dreamer. Beautiful dreamer, wake unto me. Starlight and dewdrop are waiting for thee. Sounds of the rude world, heard in the day, lulled by the moonlight, have all passed away. Beautiful dreamer, queen of my song, list while I woo thee with soft melody. Gone are the cares of life's busy throng. Beautiful dreamer, awake unto me. Beautiful dreamer, awake unto me. Beautiful dreamer, out on the sea, mermaids are chanting the wild lorry. Over the streamlets, vapors are born, waiting to fade at the bright coming morn. Beautiful dreamer, beam on my heart, and as the morn in the streamlet and sea, then will all clouds of sorrow depart. Beautiful dreamer, awake unto me. Beautiful dreamer, awake unto me. All right. Did I mention the 20-minute short from two? No, I did not mention the 20-minute short from 2011, nor did I mention All Hallows Eve. I've only been able to skim through the short. You can find it on YouTube, interestingly enough. And I haven't watched the All Hallows Eve, though. But I have watched Terrifier, Terrifier 2, and Terrifier 3. And I am looking forward to the fourth installment, which is possibly the final installment. Okay. So next up, we have some news from the world of D&D. Hold on. Closing the chapter in Sigil and thanking the community. Yeah. Correction, November 4th. We previously reported the Master Tier subscription would be automatically granted to all eligible users without any required action. Due to unforeseen technical circumstances, we've now emailed all eligible users and required you to please open the email and click the Redeem Now button and to authenticate your 6-month Master Tier subscription credit. Okay, for anyone who's actually bought into this, be sure to do that. We have made the difficult decision to end development on Sigil, which has cost you jobs, millions of dollars, and almost the loss of your fan base. This was not a decision made lightly, and it followed months of reflection. With all teams involved, we're deeply grateful to everyone who explored Sigil with us and shared in its journey. Your passion and feedback meant the world. At Wizards of the Coast, our goal is to create experiences that help you tell incredible stories together. You want to control the whole thing on an online system only. You can get away from the tabletop play that you have in D&D. Whether you're at the table, online, or anywhere you gather to play. When we introduced Sigil, we imagined a powerful 3D virtual tabletop where you could share maps, minis, and environments with your friends and fellow players, with lots and lots of microtransactions. While the vision inspired thousands of players and creators, we couldn't sustain the level of ongoing development and support that Sigil or our community deserved. Yeah, because it was bombing hardcore and nobody really liked it. That's on us. Yeah. Saying it lightly. What we've learned from Sigil and from your feedback will guide how we approach future digital tools. Yeah, right. We'll take the time to do it right in pursuit of developing the best D&D experience possible. To everyone who built and played in Sigil development, and D&D players and creators alike, thank you. Your time, creativity, and feedback made Sigil what it was. A massive bomb. No, that was on you. We know the decision hurts, especially for everyone who built campaigns. Yeah. Anyway. I think I have more on this. Yes. Little news article on this. Sigil suffer a slow, ignoble death. In March of this year, Wizards of the Coast effectively ended the development on Sigil when they laid off 30 staff members, as reported back then. The team dedicated to D&D's virtual tabletop tool felt rising tension in the office that began in August 2024. After that year's Gen Con, during the convention, an earlier version of the virtual tabletop was used for a live actual play that showcased more difficulties than fun. While the layoffs wasn't to nail the coffin, it was certainly the event that showed Wizards of the Coast where the nails were kept. Last week, darn it. Last week, the coffin was lowered into the ground when the D&D Beyond blog posted an announcement, which I just read. Sigil would remain in online through the year and shut down at the end of October 2026. Those who made aid purchases would be reimbursed. There's for them with company script, D&D Beyond credits. This is a quick shutdown for a product that only opened up to the larger D&D Beyond community in February of this year. After only 8 months of a less than stellar showing, Sigil was cut down before it never got a chance to find its footing. Yeah, I imagine all those changes to who he allowed to be used and all that had nothing to do with it as well. One of the more frustrating parts of the shutdown is that content created within Sigil will no longer be accessible. Yeah, that's the reason why you need to have a download system and allow people to work or can save the stuff offline instead of it all being online and using microtransactions. Characters, dungeons, levels, all of that will be inaccessible and likely deleted. Well, if you have some pen, paper, or screenshots, this would be a good time to do it. There's no indication in that players and DMs will be able to download this content, but at least they have a year to re-enter it manually somewhere else. While all this is expected, the shutdown of Sigil is the end of a chapter that highlights how the video game infection of D&D as a tabletop game was destined for failure from its inception. None of the features were ever perfect. The execution was consistently clunky, and the ceaseless shoehorning of the less than impressive technology into situations that would have benefited from its absence, such as Gen Con's live actual play and the earlier PR for Word Creator Summit that held at Wizards of the Coast HQ in 2023. After the company attempted to revoke the OGL. Yeah, big mistake doing that. Don't be a greedy company. Don't do that. It's gonna hurt you. Left a sour taste in people's mouths. Sigil, as an experiment, was interested in removing a lot of what people love about playing in tabletop RPGs, but was never presented as an addition to D&D games, only a replacement. That's one of the biggest failures there. Much like D&D Beyond, and has attempted to create a purely digital library and play area. The only problem with creating anything purely digital is that, especially when it's only online, it can get shut down and disappear. Sigil's entire purpose was in service of the removal of the theater of the mind. Yeah, which is kind of like the biggest part of D&D. For some people, this is an exciting new tool in their arsenal, but D&D is not, as a game, designed to be played with that kind of immersion. As improvisation and social interaction comes to the fore of many role players' desires. Intensive planning and heavy tools like Sigil and really any virtual tabletop, which fail to prioritize these role-playing vectors, will be in constant competition with what people are already enjoying at their own tables, and will have to be more than offer half-hearted dungeon builders with Baldur's Gate characters preloaded in. Yeah, and they want to do away with that kind of thing so they can, get more money, more control over the whole thing. That's where they're going wrong. Sigil was an ambitious project carried made by a talented team and led by a video game executives that never quite seem to grasp exactly what people love about playing tabletop games. Let's bring it mildly. So ends an embarrassing experiment in microtransactions over design and constantly poor planning. The only reminder of the program will be the gilded characters she is in digital die is in D&D Beyond. Fitted that catchy advertisement and add-ons and mean to entice Sigil into D&D masses. This will be its grave marker. Oh, but it gets even better. So, what has all the executives in this and all that learned from their failure of costing them millions of dollars, uh, jobs, and ultimately having to shut down the project? This is what they learned. Fred Whiteman, Vice President Investor Relations, Hasbro. Yeah, I think the big thing for Dungeons and Dragons is going to be digital games. We have several games in development. We're working with some fantastic creators in that space. Like I said, for entertainment, we tend to be a little gun shy, talking about projects too early. Very likely over the next it a couple quarters, you're going to start to see more of our digital ambitions come into life with D&D, with Dungeons and Dragons, and understand and some of the things we have in development. I think they're going to be pretty exciting. Baldur's Gate 3 was a seminal project. I think it really showed that if we build something that's great, consumers will come. There's probably 5 projects in development and for Dungeons and Dragons across our portfolio, ranging from more casual and kind and kid-oriented to very high-end action adventure and role-playing games. That's in addition to continuing focus on building our core business, is the core table RPG with special emphasis on D&D Beyond as the best place to play a tabletop RPG. So their answer to a failed online system is let's do it 5 times over. At the same time, LEGO is now producing set. It's based on D&D with official license. I would probably love that. I happen to really get into the fantasy sets and medieval sets and the pirate sets, or whatever set I can get my hands on for parts. I should have you on sometime, and we should do a whole little show just on LEGO one of these days. Yeah. Let's get on to see what else we have on the wheel here. Drunken Sailor. All right. What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor early in the morning? Way hey up your rises, way hey up your rises, way hey up your rises early in the morning. Shave his belly, rusty razor. Shave his belly, rusty razor. Shave his belly, rusty razor. Early in the morning. Way hey, and up she rises. Way hey, and up she rises. Way hey, and up she rises. Early in the morning. Put him in the scupper hose by bottom. Put him in the scupper hose by bottom. Put him in the scupper hose by bottom. Early in the morning. Way hey, and up she rises. Way hey, and up she rises. Way hey, and up she rises. Early in the morning. Put him in a longboat till he's sober. Put him in a longboat till he's sober. Put him in a longboat till he's sober. Early in the morning. Way hey, and up she rises. Way hey, and up she rises. Way hey, and up she rises. Early in the morning. Put him in bed with the captain's daughter. Put him in bed with the captain's daughter. Put him in bed with the captain's daughter. Early in the morning. Way hey, and up she rises. Way hey, and up she rises. Way hey, and up she rises. Early in the morning. That's what you do, a drunken sailor. That's what you do, a drunken sailor. That's what you do, a drunken sailor. Early in the morning. Way hey, and up she rises. Way hey, and up she rises. Way hey, and up she rises. Early in the morning. Way hey, and up she rises. Way hey, and up she rises. Way hey, and up she rises. Early in the morning. Boy, that one takes a lot of breath control. I've only been a couple of Lego sets so far, and they also did a set out of blind boxes with the 12 D&D minifigures. Nice. Yes, unfortunately, my Lego buying has been at a standstill at the moment for the past 3 years. I've got a lot of other things I have to take care of, and Lego is expensive. And I forgot to put that on screen. All right. What we got next is My Body Lies Over the Ocean. That seems like an appropriate song along the follow of Drunken Sailor. My body lies over the ocean. My body lies over the sea. My body lies over the ocean. Oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me, to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. Oh, blow ye wind over the ocean. Oh, blow the wind over the sea. Oh, blow the wind over the ocean. And bring back my Bonnie to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me, to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. Last night I laid on my pillow. Last night I laid on my bed. Last night I laid on my pillow and dreamt that my Bonnie was dead. Bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me, to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. The winds have blown over the ocean. The winds have blown over the sea. The winds have blown over the ocean and brought back my Bonnie to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me, to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. Yeah, that's something I should probably consider doing. Scavenging in thrift stores for Lego parts. All right. Ah, darn. We have some news here, which, if you haven't been paying attention into all the other pop culture channels, well, probably haven't heard it then. If you have been paying attention to the older pop culture channels, then this is coming late. Warner Brothers making in Gremlins 3 with Steven Spielberg and Chris Columbus returning. Warner Brothers is reviving the franchise after a decade and a half for a 2027 release. Warner Bros. Discovery chief is David Zaslav announced the green light for a new Gremlins film during the company's third quarter earnings call on Tuesday. Zaslav said Steven Spielberg is back on board as executive producer, though his company, Amblin Entertainment, through his company Amblin Entertainment. The 1984 original film's writer, Chris Columbus, is also returning to produce and direct the film. Zach Lebowski and Adam B. Stein, directing duo behind in this summer's horror hit Final Destination Bloodlines, are teaming up with Columbus to write the new feature installment. The Hollywood Reporter also reported on Tuesday. The new Gremlins movie will be released November 19th, 2027, with probably delays, I'm willing to bet. Upon release, will be the first Gremlins movie in 37 years. The first Gremlins movie was a dark horror comedy directed by Joe Dante and introduced an adorable little creature called a Mogwai that's adopted as a pet by a suburban family. But when the creature's caretaking rules are broken, the Mogwai multiply into an array of destructive marine killer monsters. Like, no one hasn't seen or heard about this movie. The film was a box office hit. It produced for only 11 million and grossed 151 million domestically. That's a pretty good turnaround. The film spawned the divisive sequel, which was also directed by Dante, but not written by Columbus. Released in 1990, Gremlins 2: The New Batch. It had its flaws. Definitely not. It leaned a little bit too much into the comedy, I think. It was a broad comedy set in New York City that brutally satirized the original film. The film only made 41 million at the box office and effectively halted the franchise. Warner and Amblin effectively tested modern day interest in Gremlins with an animated series titled Secret of the Mogwai that was launched in 2023 and aired 2 seasons on Max, which I still can't really stand that damn show. I tried to give it a chance. I tried to watch it. And yeah, Gizmo should have died in that, considering his exposure to sunlight, even in the shade. Gremlins 2, who has also gained a certain level of cult appreciation since its release and has been championed by director Quentin Tarantino. With Gremlins 2, Dante was able to do a Mad Magazine takeoff on the first Gremlins from the entire movie. Tarantino said below, they actually start goofing on in every aspect of Christopher Columbus' original premise, and it's hysterical. It gets better every time you see it. It's the first of those gag-like movies to 100% work for beginning to end, and since Airplane. The notion of Gremlins was first conceived during the 1920s when mechanical failure in the Royal Air Force aircraft was jokingly blamed on the small monsters. the term gremlins also entered popular culture as children's author and RAF pilot Ronald Dahl, Roald Dahl, published a book called The Gremlins in 1943. Walt Disney considered adapting the project into a feature film, but it got off the ground. Other producers on the new Gremlins movie include Christy Mikosko, Krieger, Holly Barrio, Michael Barnathan, and Mar Radcliffe. And just kind of a little side note, but it's kind of noticed with this little title card for this YouTube channel thing. And Tarantino has a lot looking like the second Gremlin in Mohawk, in his Mogwai form, don't you think? But Gremlin series show is what happens when you have a new writer who doesn't understand the lore. I've been meaning to get around to making a couple of videos on Gremlins, and I've got a bunch of screenshots set aside already for that. But I really need to get on that with the Gremlins 2 coming out. A couple of little things. There's a little fan theory I noticed, and it was a bit of lore that seems to have gotten overlooked. uh, my personal thoughts on this third movie installment, all I have to say is, please don't suck. Please don't suck. Please don't suck. Seriously, the way Hollywood's been operating lately, I don't really have much faith in their ability to produce something good, especially when it comes to a long-held franchise. I kind of expect them to screw it up royally. Now, considering the people they're getting on board with this, that is a good sign. Getting some of the original people back to work on it, that's good. There is a little bit of concern with Steven Spielberg. There's some people kind of looking at him as a little bit past his prime, maybe not quite being able to pull the magic he used to do in the past. So there is some concern there. All right. Just kind of show you one thing I'm talking about with this secret of the Mogwai thing. If I can find a good screenshot here. Let's see here. Well, this has a little bit to it. I mean, they're trying to cover him up, at least showing him, at least trying to cover himself. Up for this shot. See here, this is from Secret of the Mogwai. First of all, I can't stand this childlike style that they used. So we have Gizmo trying to cover himself up from the light. Even this level of indirect light should be extremely painful for the little guy. But there are other scenes where he's basically like on stage in the middle of the day, maybe covered by a something, but he's clearly in sunlight. In fact, let's see if I can find this is the official trailer, so that might actually be in the official trailer I'm talking about. Yeah, another thing I don't really like is it gives a backstory to the gremlins and Mugwai. No, I don't want the sound. And they basically give them a magical little background. Where honestly, I think the books background of them being aliens and from another planet as a genetic experiment actually works a lot better. And one of my fan theories is we'll be operating off of that premise. Let's see here. Uh, nope, this trailer doesn't seem to have what I'm looking for. Yeah, figures. You can never find something when you want to, huh? Yeah, it did kind of look like they were trying to pitch it for 10-year-olds, didn't it? I don't know. I think if they had just used a better graphic animation and didn't go for the whole, well, they were magically created aspect, it might have worked a little bit better. I mean, they don't necessarily have to follow the graphic novel, the novelization version, but something close to that might have been better. But, let's see what else we have on the wheel here. There's a hole in the bucket. All right. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza. Oh, hole. Then patch it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then patch it, dear Henry, dear Henry. Patch it. With what shall I patch it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I patch it, dear Liza? With what? With straw, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. With straw, dear Henry, dear Henry. With straw. The straw is too long, dear Liza, dear Liza. The straw is too long, dear Liza, too long. Then cut it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then cut it, dear Henry, dear Henry, cut it. With what shall I cut it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I cut it, dear Liza? With what? A knife, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. A knife, dear Henry, dear Henry. A knife. The knife is too dull, dear Liza, dear Liza. The knife is too dull, dear Liza, too dull. Then sharpen it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then sharpen it, dear Henry, dear Henry. Sharpen it. With what shall I sharpen it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I sharpen it, dear Liza? With what? A stone, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. A stone, dear Henry, dear Henry. A stone. The stone is too dry, dear Liza, dear Liza. The stone is too dry, dear Liza, too dry. Then wet it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then wet it, dear Henry, dear Henry. Wet it. With what shall I wet it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I wet it, dear Liza? With what? With water, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. With water, dear Henry, dear Henry. With water. With what shall I fetch it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I fetch it, dear Liza? With what? With a bucket, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. With a bucket, dear Henry, dear Henry. A bucket. But there's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza. A hole. But not to mention, don't worry. He peed on a stone, sharpened his knife, cut the straw, and patched his bucket. But the water never quite tasted the same again. And also, I think we can also all agree that Henry would be completely useless without Liza. uh, I think it would have been much better. We see if it was done more in anime style of like the original Last Airbender. Oh, most definitely. Yes, Liza gets cranky. Having to cover all that. What else do we have on the wheel? Oh, it's saying all the numbers here. Henry to Henry. Looking sailor to Liza Ocean. Boy, it's getting nice thematic run for yarn, is it? I'm Henry VIII, I am Henry VIII, I am. I got married to a wood next door. She's been married 7 times before, and all of them named Henry. Henry, she will never will her son. No son. I'm married old man. Henry VIII, I am. Second verse, same as the first. I'm Henry VIII, I am. Henry VIII, I am. I am. I got married to a widow next door. She's been married 7 times before, and all of them named Henry. Henry, she will will her son. No son. I'm married old man. Henry VIII, I am. Oh, I'm Henry VIII, I am. Henry VIII, I am. I am. I got married to a widow next door. She's been married 7 times before, and all of them named Henry. Henry, she will her son. No son. I'm married old man. Henry VIII, I am. Henry, 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 it I am, Henry, it I am, yeah. Yeah, what the hell? Let's do one more song. Actually, thinking about it, let's pull out some Tom Lehrer. How's that sound? Let's see here. Seeing as I am not, we'll go with Be Prepared. Yeah, I'm about to prepare. Here it is, flying, yeah, winging it here. Be prepared. That's the Boy Scouts marching song. Be prepared. As through life you march along, be prepared to hold your liquor pretty well. Don't write naughty words on the wall if you can't spell. Be prepared to hide that pack of cigarettes. Don't make books if you can't cover bets. Keep those reefers hidden where you're sure they won't be found. And be careful not to smoke them when the scoutmaster's around, for he will only insist that they be shared. Be prepared. Be prepared. That's the Boy Scout solemn creed. Be prepared. And be clean in word and deed. Don't solicit for your sister, that's not nice. Unless you get a good percentage of her price. Be prepared. And be careful not to do your good deeds when no one's watching you. If you're looking for adventure of a new and different kind, and come across a Girl Scout who is similarly inclined, don't be nervous, don't be flustered, don't be scared. Be prepared. And yes, thank you for the late Tom Lehrer for granting permission and to have your entire library be opened into public use. Oh, did I bring enough for the entire troop? I'm afraid not. Let's see what else I got here. Uh, 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 yeah, here we are. My hometown. I really have a yen to back home again, back to the place where no one wears a frown, to see once more those super special, just plain old folk in my hometown. No fellow could ignore the little girl next door, she sure looks sweet in her first evening gown. Now there's a charge for what she used to give for free in my hometown. I remember Dan, the druggist on the corner, was never mean or ornery. He was swell. He killed his mother-in-law, ground her up real well, and sprinkled just a bit over each banana split. The guy that taught us math, who never took a bath, acquired a certain measure of renown. And after school, he sold the most amazing pictures in my hometown. That fellow was no fool who taught our Sunday school, and neither was our kindly Parson Brown. We're recording tonight, so I have to leave this line out in my hometown. I remember Sam, he was a village idiot. And though it seemed a pity it was so, he loved to burn houses down just to watch the glow. And nothing could be done, 'cause he was the mayor's son. The guy that took a knife and monogrammed his wife, then dropped her in the pond and watched her drown. Oh, yes, indeed, the people there are just plain old folks in my hometown. I think that one turned out pretty well. But our last part in last thing for the night, Toxic Avenger, or should I say, the new Toxic Avenger. I just recently watched this. So this Toxic Avenger will play the without the sound, of course. So we have the new Toxic Avenger here, and it's very different from our original. Seeing, especially considering that it's played by Peter Dinklage, so it's as the Toxic Avenger, so it's kind of like getting 1/4 of the Toxic Avenger. I'm not really sure what to really make of this movie. It's not really a reboot or a remake, seeing as it's following its own unique story with only a few nods to the original. I mean, as you can, well, we have the radioactive mop here, which is kind of taken more from the. Oh yeah, there's our penguin-like character. That's played by Elijah Wood. He looks like the penguin in the thing. Peter Dinklage played by Wilson, so it's not even really the same name for the character of Toxie. So it's its own story. The radioactive mop really comes more from the cartoon. If I don't know if you've ever heard about that. They had Toxic Avenger cartoon in the 80s or 90s. So, was it good? Yeah, it's actually entertain. It was an entertaining movie. I mean, if you want to look at it kind of as its own thing, yeah, it's worth watching. I'd say. Uh, Considering that they have of a basically a completely different character, going by the Toxic Avenger as with his own storyline. And if they wanted to, they could pretty easily roll this into the main franchise as a separate Toxic Avenger. That might be interesting if they could have the original Toxic Avenger and this one and team up. That could work. Or they could just keep it as its own standalone universe. That could work as well. Uh, yeah, I'm really not quite sure what to really make of this as far as reboots. As long as it's not trying to take over the franchise, I think we can probably make an argument for it to exist as its own thing. Maybe we'll do a midnight showing on Thursday for this sometime. Yes, I do midnight showings on Thursdays. It's midnight my time, so midnight Eastern. If you want to get in on that, I have a Discord where I have a link to another site to get posted, or if you happen to be in Purple's DM group. But I'll give you the link to my Discord if you want to keep up on and join in on it. Here is that is not the link to my Discord. Come on, copy. Copy. There you go. There's the link. Okay. So there is the link to my Discord there. If anybody wants to join in, I usually keep the link to where we go watch the movies and the announcements. Yeah, it's right. Yep, it's right in the announcements. I'm not going to say the name of the site that I go to watch these shows because apparently YouTube frowns on that site for some reason. I don't know. Maybe they don't like the competition. But, so we have Peter Dinklage. The only thing I didn't really much care for, and they probably could have toned down a little bit, was the scene where we get to see Peter Dinklage as Peter out. So Jacob Tremblay was playing Wade. Lisa Gori Hugo Taxi the Bod. Elijah Wood. Kevin Bacon was one of the main villains in this. Yeah, it was entertaining. I'll give him that much. But I'm not really sure, where to slot it. It's not really a remake because it follows its own unique story plot. It's not really a reboot. It's kind of its own thing, which I suppose is a good move for it to do. Well, as a mutated Toxic Avenger, no, it was not Dinklage. So ending on the note of Peter, here's Peter there. That's pretty much all I've got up for tonight. So we will send things over to Data of the Grid, who will be starting in about 44 minutes. Because he had to push his time up a little bit. So you can go check out his thing. Tonight, we have From Beauty to What the Fuck, the fall live stream with Cosmic Theta Theater. I'm not sure what they're covering. And also, of course, let's get one more plug in for your mom NATO. I still have the link pinned there, so if you can donate anything in there, please help her out with her car. Yes. There's also Bad Sign in Sunday. Doesn't exactly fit the thematic transition from my show, though. But they riffed on a lot of well, bad science. Let's see if I can get a link for that too. Let's see here. Bad Science Sunday. Yeah, they're already in progress. So there is Bad Science Sunday if you want to check them out as well. And they're already currently live. So long. And live long and prosper.